Henry. This is a story about Henry the Green Engine. Henry was often ill. He couldn't work, but then tried some special Welsh coal and got the chains to show everyone just what he could do. Henry was a big engine. Sometimes he could pull trains, but sometimes he felt too weak and he had to stay in the yard. One morning, Henry was feeling so sorry for himself. "I suffered dreadfully, and no one carries me," he said. "Rubbish, Henry," snorted James. "You don't work hard enough." The Fat Controller spoke to Henry. "You're too expensive, Henry," he said. "You have lots of new jobs to do, new parts of a new coat of paint, but they have done you no good. If we can't make you better, we'll have to get another engine instead of you." This made Henry and his driver and his fireman very sad. The Fat Controller, waiting for Henry, came to the platform. He had taken off his coat and put on overalls. He climbed onto Henry's flat plate. Henry managed to start, but his fireman was not happy. "Henry is bad steamer," he told the Fat Controller. "Build up his fire, but it doesn't give enough heat." Henry tried very hard to pull the train, but it was no good. He didn't have enough steam. He gradually came to a stop. Oh dear, thought Henry. "Now I shall be sent away. Oh dear, oh dear." Henry went slowly into a siding, and Edward took charge of the train. "What do you think it was wrong?" the fireman asked the Fat Controller. It's the coal," he answered. "It hasn't been very good lately. The other engines took manage because they have been fireboxes, but is small and can't make enough heat. With Welsh coal, he'd be a different engine. He expensive," said the Fat Controller. "But Henry must have fair chance, and I'll send James to fetch some." Henry's driver and fireman were very excited when the call came. Now, well, show him, Henry told old fellow. He said they carefully oiled Henry's joints and polished his brass until it shone like gold. Henry felt very good. Later. Not now, Dad. Not now. I want to go to the shops later. Then Henry's fireman carefully made his fire. He put large lumps of coal like a wall around the outside of the fire, and then he covered the glowing middle part with smaller lumps. "You're spoiling my fire," complained Henry. "Wait and see," said the fireman. "We'll have a roaring fire just when we need it." The fireman was right. It was Henry reached the platform. The water was boiling nicely and he had to let off some Welsh. "How are you, Henry?" asked the Fat Controller. "Peep, peep," he whistled, and felt fine. "Did you have a good fire, driver?" Fat Controller asked. "Never bitter, sir. Had plenty of steam," he replied. Henry was in pain. He wanted to set off. "No record breaking," warned the Fat Controller. "Don't push him too hard, driver." "Henry won't need pushing, sir," the driver replied. "I'll have to make go back." Henry had a lovely day. He had never felt so well in his life. He wanted to go fast, but his driver wouldn't let him. "Steady, old fellow," he said. "There's plenty of time." But still Henry went quite fast and arrived at the station early. Thomas puffed in. "Where have you been, lazybones?" asked Henry. But before Thomas could answer, Henry was off again. "Can't wait for slow tank engines like you," he said. "Goodbye," and off he sped. "Gosh," said Thomas to Annie and Clarabel, "have you ever seen anything like it?" Annie and Clarabel agreed that they never had. Henry was very happy with his new Welsh colt. He could work as hard as the old other engines. Then, one day, Henry had crashed him, and the Fat Controller sent him to be mended. Workmen gave Henry a brand new shape and a bigger firebox, so he wouldn't need special coal anymore. Now Henry is so splendid and strong. He sometimes pulls the express. Peep, 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 whistles Henry happily. The end.